The New York Yankees are the greatest team in sports history. On November 4th, 2009, they won their 27th World Series in franchise history. After trading for Babe Ruth from the Red Sox, they turned into the model professional sports team. Sometimes they won and sometimes they lost, but they did a whole lot more winning than they did losing. At one point, they won 4 World Series in a row, and at a different point, they won 5 World Series in a row. They had arguably the most iconic logo, uniform, stadium, and player in all of sports. A list of Yankees legends is basically a list of baseball legends. Their strategy of spending money first and asking questions later worked for decades. But eventually it caught up with them. The last championship-winning Yankee greats retired. Jorge Posada in 2011, Mariano Rivera and Andy Pettitte in 2013, and the biggest one, Derek Jeter in 2014. But 2011 was the real tipping point. After the first of the core 4 bowed out, you could tell the end of their reign of dominance was coming soon. But another thing happened in 2011. In a different league, in a different division, a team nobody was paying attention to made an insignificant move that would completely ruin New York. Because for the next decade and change, one player would haunt the Yankees and the rest of the American League. Standing at 5 foot 6 inches, playing second base for the Houston Astros, number 27. José Altuve is the name that will strike fear into the heart of anyone from New York. But long before his name was as hated as Reggie Miller and Tom Brady, Altuve was born in Maracay, Venezuela, where he would befriend Salvador Perez when he was young. In 2006, while old friend Jarrett Wright was blowing Game 4 of the ALDS for the Yankees, a 16-year-old José Altuve was denied a chance to try out for the Astros. By all accounts, he had no chance. Most of the scouts there doubted that he was even 16, so they sent him home. Altuve returned the next day with his birth certificate proving he was born in 1990. So a special assistant to the team, Al Padrique, asked a seemingly blunt question to the kid: can you play? That's a fair question. Only one Venezuelan-born player has made it to the Baseball Hall of Fame. And while Miguel Cabrera is certainly going to be the second, there's another one right behind him. Because Altuve answered right back with a quote that would define his career: "I'll show you." $15,000 later, and Altuve was a member of the Astros' 2007 Venezuelan Summer League team. In possibly related news, as soon as Altuve touched the Astros organization, Roger Clemens wanted out. The Yankee great and winner of 2 World Series and a Cy Young with the club originally announced he would retire after the 2005 season. But first, we have to make 2 brief pit stops in the 2006 World Baseball Classic. Pit stop number 1. Roger Clemens performed pretty well in the tournament, but Team USA would eventually fall to Team Mexico. He performed so well that he figured he had one more left in him, making a return to the Astros in 2006. Our other pit stop will be with Team Cuba. I've talked about it before, but there's a player we must get to know from this team. He'll be important for later. Yulieski Gurriel. Right now, I'm going to skip over the backstory and later on from now's story, but the important thing is he was already on the national stage in 2006. Actually, I don't know if that was important. Look, just remember the word Gurriel for later. And we're back to the Astros. After Clemens returned in 2006, he retired again. And then, in the middle of a random 2007 Yankees-Mariners game, during the 7th inning stretch, Clemens grabbed a microphone and announced his unretirement to the 52,000 in attendance at Yankee Stadium. I'm not joking, this really happened, this is real. Anyway, around the same time in 2006, the other Yankee legend who was on the Astros roster, Andy Pettitte, also decided to return to the Yankees after a 3-year stint in Houston. What I'm basically saying is that Altuve is like garlic. Not only does he get rid of the vampires known as the New York Yankees, but slap him on some bread and he makes a good side dish for pasta. Anyway, back to the short guy in Venezuela. In 2007, Altuve led the VSL Astros in batting average and on-base percentage. Up in the Major League club, the Astros said goodbye to Craig Biggio, who would be inducted into the Hall of Fame soon after. In 2008, Altuve moved to America and lowered his batting average by a bit. In 2009, the Yankees win ring number 27, and Altuve graduates from rookie ball. Ironically, Altuve was promoted to the Tri-City Valley Cats, who are based in Troy. Yes, you heard that correctly. José Altuve spent an extended period of time in New York this same season the Yankees won a World Series. There's footage of him. Allegedly. It's Bigfoot sliding quality. That might be him. This is definitely him. And I can say with 100% confidence this is him. But I digress. He began 2010 with the Lexington Legends, hit .308, was an all-star in his respective MILB league for the second year in a row, and was called up to the high-A Lancaster Jethawks, where he would hit .276 for the rest of the season. Well, that's not great, but in 2011 he would start off batting .408 in 52 games before naturally getting the call up to AA. He would hit a measly .361 for the Corpus Christi Hooks. That earned him a nod on Baseball America's minor league all-star team, as well as getting named the Houston Astros minor league player of the year. On the verge of making the majors, Altuve was selected to the MLB Futures game in Arizona. They mic'd him up in white. Why is he wearing number 2? That looks gross. Ew. On the first pitch that Altuve ever saw under the bright lights of a national broadcast, he chopped one to third. Thankfully, Will Middlebrooks let it bounce past him, and here comes another Altuve staple. Incredibly aggressive base running. Now, I know for a fact none of you have ever seen this clip before, so everyone place your bets. Does Altuve A, get Biggio'd rounding first, B, get a hustle double, or C, get thrown out trying to go to third on a bad throw? Or I guess D, reach third. Correct answer is B. Later on in the third inning, he also slapped a single up the middle. Oh, by the way, here's Altuve having a chat with Luis Gonzalez. I'm not sure what they were talking about. I assume Gonzalez was telling him how to hit a walk-off against the Yankees in a final game of a playoff series. Just a hunch, though. You would think all of that would get him called up to AAA, but it didn't. He went straight to the majors. You and I both want to skip to his debut, but we've got some catching up to do with the floundering Bronx Bombers. The year after winning it all, they traded for Lance Sorry, something in my throat. The year after winning it all, they traded for Lance Berkman and lost in 6 to the Arlington Baseball Organization. That Arlington team would lose in 5 to the Giants. In 2011, the Yankees fell to the Tigers in 5 in the ALDS. Anyways, after skipping AAA, Altuve would make his debut. So this date, July 20th, will become the most infamous date in New York history. Everybody's a friend who knows a guy who has a cousin whose uncle was at this game, at least I assume so. With a record of 32-65, the Astros didn't have much to lose, so they started him at second against Livan Hernandez? Yeah, sure, man, whatever. Altuve introduces himself to Astros fans in the only way he knows how, by flying out in the first pitch he sees. In the second inning, he gets his first chance in the field when the pitcher Hernandez grounds out to him. Back up to the plate in the third, he takes strike 1, then ball 2, then a whiff for strike 2, then a pitch that Eric Gregg certainly would have called a strike. Then he swings at a ball and ends up flying out to a pitcher, Rickane Keel. Altuve feels another easy grounder from Jesus Flores. Then to lead off the fifth, oh no, more on him later, grounds out to Altuve. With a runner on first, Altuve takes an easy ball. Then he does it again while pulling back a bunt. With the runner going, Altuve's, yeah, get used to that plate discipline. Then he gets a decent pitch to hit, but ends up with the always fun runner on first tagging up, advancing to second. Finally, in the seventh, he gets his first real defensive test, but he manages to get Ryan Zimmerman. Now facing Henry Rodriguez, Altuve just okay, look, he's making his debut. Cut him some slack, alright? Wait, didn't Tucker do this? With 2 gone in the ninth, Tyler Clippard deals strike 1, then ball 1, then he deals strike 2. I do not have high hopes for this at-bat. Oh, hold on. I spoke too soon. You know, Clippard was an all-star in 2011. The announced crowd of 29,605 gives him a hand. I was gonna make a joke about the attendance, but for a 1:05 p.m. start time on a Wednesday, actually, it's not that bad. After a walk, Altuve is stranded on second. In the 11th inning, there were runners on the corners and 1 out. Altuve's spot in the order comes up and... wait, where did he go? Oh, they subbed him out in the 10th inning. Well, it's not like Jason Michaels is gonna be the hero who... Well, at least Altuve gets in on the fun, and wait a second, why is his shirt still... Moving on. Altuve actually tied the Astros record for longest hitting streak to start a career with 7. Sprinkle in a pair of 3-hit games, as well as a 2-double game versus the Cardinals, and you guided yourself the recipe for a batting average just north of 400. With an on-base percentage, that's not much higher. Now I know what you're thinking, what, did he draw 1 walk in that time? No, he didn't draw any. He got dinged on the shoulder by that big Z guy Astros fans hate. It took Altuve until August 2nd to get his first career walk, issued by Homer Bailey. Now I know what you're thinking, Altuve, Homer, in the same sentence? What, did Aroldis Chapman pitch in this game? Yes, he did actually. Speaking of homers, on August 20th, Altuve legged out his first career round tripper off Madison Bumgarner. He became the first Astro since Butch Henry to get his first career home run via the inside the park variety. 10 days later, Altuve smacks his first, normal home run. It was off of, more on Chuck later. Altuve's first career walk-off came on August 1st against the Cincinnati Reds closer. What do you mean it's not him? Was it at least an impressive hit? Oh, it wasn't even a hit? It was a fielder's choice? Well, I guess it still counts. Wait a second, hold on. Why is his shirt still? Now I know what some of y'all are thinking. Can we please just skip to the interesting seasons that are ahead? No. Look, the point of this early portion of the video is to get you to understand what Astros fans were going through during this time. I mean, this is a team with a half-decade of worthlessness behind them and a half-decade ahead. There's not a lot to look forward to in the immediate future, give or take a draft pick or two. So yeah, you can skip ahead to the fun parts of the dynasty if you truly want to, but you're missing the point. The trial by fire is about to bear some amazing fruits. So what's the fun in skipping the growing part? Altuve's rookie year concluded with meager stats, nothing special by any means. But look, if you really want some playoff action, you can always head up north to check on what the Bronx Bombers are up to. Well, they did what they're expected to do. They finished with the best record in the AL. With that came a matchup against the Detroit Tigers, and it went the full 5 games. In Game 5, the Tigers jumped out to a 3-0 lead before the Yankees started chipping away. Trailing by 2, they loaded the bases in the 7th. St. Eroyd struck out, but Mark Teixeira walked in a run to bring the game within 1. After 5 pitches, Nick Swisher strikes out. The Yankees season ends a few innings later. Well, with that detour over, we now return to the AAA Astros, now under new management. José Altuve made his first career opening day start in 2012, collecting a walk and a run in the first. He sat out the Astros' second game of the season. You don't understand how unbelievably angry that makes me. Basically, the guy you see absolutely mowing through this lineup once matched up against prime Nolan Ryan. Oh, and he outdueled him too. Now I know what you're thinking, what does that have to do with anything? Welcome to the channel, the subscribe button's down there. Altuve would then play in every single game until June 25th. Do you see why this upsets me? Anyways, moving on to even dumber matters, during the middle of that consecutive game streaks on May 1st, Altuve faced John Rauch. Now I know what you're thinking, who's John Rauch? Well, one time he had a home run off of Roger Clemens.
You think Roger Clemens watches these videos? Oh dude, 100% he watches these videos. Yo Roger, what's up dog?
More importantly, Rauch is 6'11" tall, tying him for the record for tallest MLB player. This at-bat set the record for largest height difference between batter and pitcher as long as you ignore Eddie Gadel. They faced off in that May 1st game, and for the record, Rauch wins the battle, forever proving that tall guys truly do have it easy. Alright, what else? Oh, right, he made the All-Star game. Did I forget to mention that? Well, he did.
And Aroldis Chapman.
Well, that's fun. Also, there's Clayton on his left. In the actual game, Altuve made a pinch hit appearance and just barely grounded out. Anyways, back on the topic of Aroldis Chapman, Altuve faced him for the first time in his career, and he grounded out to third. What, were you expecting something else? Oh my goodness, what is this garbage on my screen? The Astros are now in the American League West, alongside the new division rivals and the Angels of indeterminate California-based location, the Seattle They-Thems, the team from the movie, and the Arlington Rangers. They also decided to rebrand away from the train track uniform design and into a more modern version of an old logo. The Astros celebrated this newfound rebranding by handing Altuve a $12.5 million extension that would take him into 2017 with club options for both 2018 and 19. That's what we in the biz call a bargain. Speaking of bargain, the entire Astros team was run on a total payroll of... And stop. Look, I was gonna go into a tangent about the Astros payroll and how it was comically low for an MLB team, but I can't really find a concrete number as to what it actually was. I'm like 90% sure it's in the low $20 million range, which would place at least a few individual players above them in terms of salary, but I can't confidently state anything aside from those vague statements. Point is, Altuve was making like $500,000 a year, and he was still one of the highest paid players in the team. Anyways, the Astros made their American League debut on primetime ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball. On the first pitch he sees as an American League batter, Altuve grounds one through the hole for a single. In the 5th, he nabbed an RBI on another single. The game was put to bed by Rick Ankiel's 3-run shot in the 6th inning. That's right, the Astros' first home run in the American League was hit by a pitcher. After that game, the 2013 Astros would win just 50 more, finishing at 51 and 111. By far the worst record in team history. In fact, this was the 3rd consecutive year the Astros set that mark. Deep in the 13th inning of a September 18th game against the Reds, Altuve comes up to face Chapman for the 2nd time in his career. With the tying run at the plate, he almost gets drilled. Then he grounds out to third again. On a possibly related note, Altuve faced our main villain of this story, the New York Yankees, for the first time. He faced him 6 times on the year and recorded 4 multi-hit games. tallying 2 doubles for his extra base hits, and you've got a 2013 slash line versus New York that is higher than his actual 2013 slash line. However, the Astros lost all but the first game that Altuve played in, which is like the sign of the times, really. Not gonna lie, this season is crazy boring, so I'm just gonna play that stupid game-losing error they had against the Pirates and take us into 2014. Alright, it's 2014 now. You ready for an impossibly specific stat? From June 24th versus the Braves to June 30th versus the Mariners, Altuve became only the 28th player in MLB history to record a stolen base in 7 consecutive games. And in the middle of that streak, he became one of only 3 players to record multiple stolen bases in 3 consecutive games, and the only one to do it in the live ball era. That's cool and all, but I like hits, not stolen bases. Well, turns out Altuve collected a lot of those too. 11 in that 4-game streak, in fact. Oh, he also had 225 hits on the year, so that's cool.
I should probably talk about that. Okay, so
he collected 45 hits in May, which was the most of any month in his career to date. In fact, of his 21 career months in the bigs, the 6 months of 2014 all ranked in the top 9 in terms of hits. Was that an overly complicated sentence? Maybe, but here's a less complicated sentence. He led all of MLB in hits, both AL and NL. With 130 hits at the break, Altuve was named the starting... What's that? He wasn't? Robinson Cano? Well, he made the roster at least. When Derek Jeter was pulled for the game in the 4th, Altuve was the first to greet him coming down the steps. Yep, that's a real clip, they kinda hugged. Anyways, the moment he stepped on the field, he became the only player in MLB history to make the All-Star team in both the American and National League while playing for the same team. He comes up to bat in the 5th, facing Tyler Clippard with... Wait, that Canada event hasn't happened yet. In front of a national audience, Altuve cracks Tyler Clippard's 1-1 offering deep to left. It flies, it travels, it carries, but it dies at the track. It does drive in a run though. In his only fielding opportunity of the game, Altuve ranges to his right, makes a great play, nabs D. Strange Gordon thanks in part to a pick by Jose Abreu. Anywho, back to the regular season. Altuve led all of MLB in 2014 with 69 multi-hit games, a full 10 more than the runner-up who we will talk about later. If 69 sounds like a lot, that's because it is. It's tied for 72nd most multi-hit games in a season all time in... Okay, that doesn't sound that impressive. Alright, if we ignore decades of MLB history, all of a sudden he's tied for 26th. We can do better than that. Since the turn of the century? 12th. Since 2010? 2nd. Okay, since 2014, tied for 1st. Okay, I'm running out of ways to make this season look more impressive than it is. Altuve led all of MLB in 2014 with 69 multi-hit games. His 225 hits were an all-time Astros single-season record, surpassing Craig Biggio's 210 in 1998. And also, they were good enough for his first career Silver Slugger. Altuve's first career Grand Slam came in 2014 on August 17th. I feel like there's something else I should note about this. Nope, can't think of it. By the way, this year gave us Altuve literally jumping up to make contact with the baseball, which is both hilarious and hilarious. Altuve got some MVP consideration for the first time. Not much, but, you know, it's something. After the season was over, Altuve racked up some frequent flyer miles by going on a little trip across the Pacific Ocean to Japan with other MLB All-Stars. As is kind of traditional with exhibition games like this, Team MLB had a loaded roster with a pitching staff that makes you go, wow, that's a loaded roster. Altuve was a part of said roster, and he finished with a 400 average and 1,000 OPS. Apparently, Team USA got no hit, which makes that last sentence look bad, but, you know, in his defense, the American League's batting champion only got 1 at-bat, which came after he pinch hit for Robinson Cano and came up in the 9th. He struck out at the hands of Yuji Nishino. He ended up starting the rest of the... Wait, hold on. Is that... No, there's no way. Oh my gosh, it's him. Altuve singled off Ohtani, which is nuts when you realize that there are 3 full MLB seasons until he's going to debut. That's pretty cool. For the first time since Altuve made his debut, the Astros were not a flaming pile of garbage. More like just a regular pile of garbage. Perhaps that's why the Stros were able to take 4 out of 6 from the Yankees, with Altuve collecting 5 hits and 4 RBIs. They weren't even close to winning the AL West, as they were 28 games back in the division, but 70 and 92 was the closest to 500 they had been since Altuve got there. And that's a good sign for the future, I suppose. Up until 2015, José Altuve had a total of 21 home runs. In 2015, he hit 15 of them. He had 2 walk-offs in his career so far, both of which weren't hits. In 2015, he had 3 walk-off hits, including his first career walk-off homer. Tragically, his shirt remained on all 3 times. On June 27th, Altuve nabbed his first career homer against the Yankees, finishing with his best single-season slash line against the club, which includes his first 3-hit game against them. Altuve was the first Astros second baseman to start the All-Star game since Jeff Kent, fitting that it came in the Obama administration. Facing a pitcher that will be talked about later, he grounds out to a teammate of Jamie Moyer. In the 4th, he does the same, but this time facing a guy who started against Jamie Moyer. For the second consecutive year, Altuve led the AL in hits and stolen bases, but this time D. Strange Gordon had him beaten the NL, as well as a couple players in steals, only one of whom was teammates with Jamie Moyer. That's right, baby, 3 consecutive sentences with a Jamie Moyer reference. Welcome to the channel, that's just how we roll. Altuve went back-to-back with the Silver Slugger, but he also nabbed his first and only career Gold Glove. He entered the last game of the season with 197 hits, just 3 shy of becoming the first Astro ever to record multiple 200-hit seasons. In Arizona, the Diamondbacks sent... Now, I know that ain't who I think it is. Oh my gosh, it's actually him. Well, Altuve got 2 hits off of him, one of them a triple that led to a run. In the 9th inning, Altuve was sitting on 199, but he poked his last chance into right field to finish at a nice round 200. Despite the loss, the Astros still clinched the final wildcard spot over the Angels. You know what that means, right? It means it's postseason time. In the American League wildcard game, who else would the Astros face but...
New York Yankees!
It's been a while since we talked about New York, huh? What have they been up to these last couple of years? Well, the core 4 is now completely gone. Posada, Pettit, Rivera, and most recently Jeter are all out the door. 2015 was the beginning of a new era, and New York is relying on a new crop of talent. Of course, they still have veterans on the team. Trust me, that guy right there is going to be extremely important later on. The Yankees sent out their 26-year-old, $155 million man to the mound, Japanese icon Masahiro Tanaka. The Astros would counter with their ace, who also happened to be pretty good. Dallas Keuchel came up as just another arm meant to fill innings for a losing team. And for the first 2 seasons of his career, that's exactly what he was, having an ERA over 5 in both 2012 and 13. But in 2014, he put together a solid season. And then in 2015, he really put it all together with an all-star campaign. He actually started the game, too. Oh, and he also won the AL Cy Young Award. Yeah, this was kind of a crummy Cy Young vote, as the top 4 pitchers by WAR were all in the NL, not the AL. Not that Keuchel didn't deserve it, he did, it's just that, like, this is probably not a Cy Young winning season in any other year since 2015, except maybe 2016 or 2021. To start out his postseason career, Altuve actually doesn't swing at the first pitch. But on a full count, he does swing and miss at ball 4. Keuchel works a clean first inning. On the first pitch of the 2nd inning, the greatest postseason hitter of all time belted a Tanaka fastball into the seats to give the Astros a 1-0 lead. Oh, sorry, did you think I was kidding? Don't worry, you'll see. You'll see. The inning continues thanks to a single and a pair of full-count walks. Altuve has his first chance at some playoff ribbies, but he grounds out. Keuchel once again goes 1-2-3 with a base runner in between. In the 3rd, 3 up, 3 down. This time it's Carlos Gomez who ambushes Tanaka's first pitch of the inning for a home run. Keuchel adds another 1-2-3 inning with some help from his defense. So far, Altuve is 0 for 3 in his playoff career. Keuchel gets his 3rd consecutive perfect inning. He hasn't allowed a base runner since the 2nd. However, the leadoff man in the 6th hits one just out of the reach of Altuve. He strikes out Brett Gardner for the 3rd time in the game. Then he gets a ground ball that might be a double play, but it ends up as a fielder's choice as Altuve's arm isn't quite enough. The slide also couldn't have helped. However, a single keeps this inning alive. After a conference on the mound, Keuchel sits down Needleman on the first pitch. With Jonathan VR on second, Altuve dinks one into right field for an RBI single. Oh, and he steals second on the next pitch, but nothing comes of that. Tony Sipp, Will Harris, and Luke Gregerson pitch a scoreless final 3 innings to give the Astros their first playoff win in over a decade. Altuve's reaction to this is to untuck his shirt. Buddy, take it off! The Astros' opponent in the ALDS was the defending American League champion Kansas City Royals. In Game 1, Yordano Ventura matched up with Colin McHugh. After taking strike 1, Altuve lines a single into left. And just like that, the bases are loaded for the greatest playoff hitter ever. And he delivers by trading an RBI for his groundout. Evan Gattis then promptly does the same. With a runner on second, Altuve again takes the first pitch and again lines a single into the outfield, this time to right. Jake Marisnick is waved home and it's a 3-0 game. Kendrys Morales belts a homer that just stays fair. And then when the game resumes after a rain delay, Morales decides he actually likes the baseballs wet and sends one near the fountains for his 2nd long ball of the day. To lead off the 5th, Altuve breaks up Chris Young's streak of 5 consecutive Ks with his 3rd hit of the game. However, on the 1-1 offering, Altuve is gunned down at second by his old friend Salvador Perez, which looks even worse after the home run that came 2 pitches later. In the 7th, Altuve grounds out in the first pitch. Once again, the greatest playoff hitter of all time jumps the first pitch for a home run to add another insurance run, and Altuve grounds out in the 9th, but the Astros still get the win 5-2. Game 2. Johnny Cueto faces something called a Scott Kazmir. First pitch of the game is an Altuve flyout. Once again, Rasmus jumps on the first pitch and cracks an extra base hit. This time an RBI double. Altuve flies a weak one to right and Chris Carter isn't able to tag up and score. However, 2 runs are able to score on the next batter. Salvi gets one of those runs back.
But it says here in my notes that Colby Rasmus is set to lead off the next inning for Houston. I think we all know what that means. We're just going to add another run real quick.
A close infield play is reviewed and the Royals end up with runners on the corners and nobody out. Altuve is right in the middle of the double play that follows, but the run still scores. After Altuve grounds out in the 4th, the game then shifts into nothing happening for a while until in the bottom of the 6th when the Royals bring things within 1, courtesy of Ben Zobrist's little blue pit. After another single and a walk, Oliver Perez is out. Out of the bullpen comes Josh Fields. You know that scene in a TV show where a minor character appears but they won't be important until later on in the series? Yeah, this is that. Anyways, y'all already know about the 4-pitch walk and back-to-back strikeouts. Altuve grounds out in the 7th and the Royals take the lead in the bottom of the 7th. In the 9th inning, Preston Tucker draws a full count 1-out walk in his pinch ran for. Altuve has a chance as a hold on, a pickoff. Oh, don't worry, he was safe.
Hold it!
Well, that's a bummer. Altuve grounds out and the series is tied. For the first time since Game 4 of the 2005 World Series, Minute Maid Park will host a playoff game. Dallas Keuchel gets back on the mound, and this is exactly what the Astros want. Since 2000, Keuchel had the lowest single-season ERA at home among pitchers with at least 120 innings pitched. And I know decisions aren't worth much, but Keuchel is 15-0 at home, which that's worth something, right? Anyways, Altuve grounded out and struck out as this game remained scoreless through 3. Then Lorenzo Cain demolished one into left field to make it 1-0. In the 5th, with 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, the Astros retook the lead with a 2-run single. Altuve was up next and he grounded into a double play. So, we're winning, I guess. Gomez tacks on one in the 6th with a single. Keuchel polishes off his 7th inning of work. Then Chris Carter tacks on the Astros' final run with a solo shot. Alex Gordon chips away at the deficit in the 9th, but the Astros hang on to pull within 1 game of making their first ever American League Championship Series. Game 4, on the first pitch, Altuve flies out. The Royals take the lead on a 2-run oppo taco from Perez. But Carlos Gomez cuts that deficit in half. Altuve strikes out, and then we meet another Carlos. Carlos Correa was the savior of this doomed franchise. Well, he wasn't projected to be. Entering the 2012 MLB draft, the Astros held the first overall pick. Most, if not all, of the mock drafts and projections and whatnot had the Astros drafting either Mark Apple from Stanford or Byron Buxton from high school. Well, before the draft, the Astros evaluators were, quote, blown away by a workout. So the Astros nabbed Correa at 1. Buxton went to the Twins, don't worry, we'll get to him later on. And Mark Apple went 8th, where he didn't sign. Of course, that was after he threatened not to sign with the Astros because he deemed the $6 million not enough. And after rejecting the Pirates, he ended up going 1st overall in the 2013 draft of the Astros, where, let's just say we're not going to be seeing him later. Correa quickly became the Astros' top prospect by 2014. His debut came in 2015, and after setting the Astros' rookie home run record and posting great overall numbers with the bat, as well as becoming Altuve's excellent double play partner in the middle infield, he claimed American League Rookie of the Year. In Game 4, he attacks Yordano Ventura's first pitch for a game-tying home run. Altuve comes about this close to beating out this grounder, but there's no review. After a walk, Correa draws the count full. With the runner going, Correa lines one right down the line. It takes a bounce off of the weird jagged wall in right field, and that carom allows Correa to pick up his 2nd RBI of the game. After Colby Rasmus is given first base, Evan Gattis flies out just short of the warning track. In the 7th inning, pinch runner Terrence Gore steals 2nd. Now this is like Gore's thing. He's he's only on the Royals roster because he can steal bags and play defense. So far in his career, he has 6 plate appearances and 8 stolen bases with an additional 4 steals in the postseason. He's never been caught stealing, and he adds his 5th playoff steal soon after his 4th. Except replay confirms that his foot came off the bag. That's the end of the inning. Hoping to capitalize, Altuve leads off the 7th with his first postseason walk. After a pitching change, and a strikeout, up comes the Rookie of the Hour. Correa battles with Madsen until it all comes to a head on the 5th pitch.
There goes the runner. There goes Correa again!
Carlos Correa has just become the youngest player to ever have a multi-homer game in the postseason. A 5-2 lead is...
Rasmus follows up, and that one is gone!
Did you think I was joking when I called him the greatest playoff hitter of all time? Colby Rasmus, and this is not by any means a joke, has the highest career postseason OPS, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage of all time. Not wildcard era, not divisional era, not integration era, not live ball era, no, all time. Oh, and his batting average is second highest. I'm dead serious, completely straight-faced. This isn't some haha funny bit. He's better than Ted. He's like miles better than Ted. It's not even close. Like he spits on Teddy Ballgame. Tack on a pair of singles from Gaddis and Gomez, and the Astros have second and third with one out. We are rolling. The win probability is at 98%, and that first ever ALCS trip is right there for the taking. Okay, Valbuena pops out, it's too shallow to tag, and Marwin Gonzalez strikes out. That's okay, that's fine. Kansas City leads off the 8th with a single, and then another one, and then another one, and the tying runs at the plate. But Lorenzo Cain is up. I don't think he's gonna homer. Instead, he lines one, Hinch, buddy, we're gonna take out Harris? Tony Sipp has made an appearance in every single game of the postseason so far. His arm has been depended upon to get some valuable outs, but this is by far his highest leverage appearance. He repeatedly tries to get Eric Hosmer to fish for strike 3, but eventually he just allows the Royals' 5th consecutive single. He gets strike 1 on Kendrys Morales. Then Sipp induces a tapper back to him, but it deflects off his glove. Thankfully, Correa is there behind him. This has been the Carlos Correa game. It's fitting that he's the one to turn the double play that helps get Houston out of this.
Off Correa on into center field! Kansas City has tied it in the 8th!
The ball took a bad hop and the game is tied. I guess it's just a rookie mistake. Sipp appears to get Moustakas swinging for out number 1, but it's a foul ball. He keeps fouling them off before pinch runner Gerard Dyson steals second, but on the 10th pitch of the at-bat, Moustakas goes down. Luke Gregerson is now in to clean up this mess, but after a 10-pitch battle with Drew Butera, he walks him. Unbelievably, the Astros still have not blown this lead. Alex Gordon is the 9th man up for Kansas City in this inning, and he hits a weak ground ball to Altuve. He lays out to grab it, and they can only get one. The Royals take the lead. Alex Rios, the guy who hit the first of those singles, walks. Finally, the Astros get out of the inning when Alcides Escobar is caught looking. Altuve has a chance to tie the game, but he grounds out. Eric Hosmer nets KC a pair of insurance runs, and this game is over. We are headed to a winner-take-all Game 5 in Missouri. On short rest, Cueto got the bump for the Royals. Colin McHugh is the Astros man. Altuve starts this one out with a flyout as both pitchers go 1-2-3 to start the game. After an errant throw by Moustakas, Luis Valbuena comes up and launches the first pitch into the Royals bullpen. Altuve makes a routine can of corn out in the 3rd. A check swingle gets Lorenzo Cain on first. On a full count, he takes off for second. Hosmer slaps a single to center, and Cain is able to score after Gomez falls down trying to field the ball. In the 5th, Salvador Perez gets beaned, and Alex Gordon gets an automatic double. That's it for McHugh. This game is now in the hands of the bullpen. The first man out is... oh boy. Look, everyone watching this video right now knows exactly who this man is and what role he's gonna play in this tale. But we aren't there yet. Right now, the Astros are an up-and-coming franchise, and they're trying to hold on to a lead in the 5th inning of a winner-take-all matchup. They do not. Sac fly makes it 4-2. Altuve pops one up, and Alex Gordon makes a sliding catch to rob him of a hit. Kendrys Morales puts this one on ice with a 3-run homer. Altuve is the second out of the 9th, and after a great play by Paulo Orlando, the Royals are headed to their 2nd consecutive ALCS. They won that to head to their 2nd consecutive World Series. And they won that to win their 2nd title in franchise history, leaving the Astros in the dust all the while. José Altuve, it would seem, is just not built for October. After his 3-hit Game 1, he got on base once in the next 4 games. Maybe he'll break that narrative in the coming years, maybe he won't. After going ice cold in the playoffs, Altuve was released from the Astros and nabbed on waivers by Chick-fil-A. The Astros actually opened the season on the road in Yankee Stadium. The game climaxed in the 8th with Altuve on second and 1 out. Carlos Correa hit a little tapper to Dylan Betances, and, well, watch where he's running. Anyways, Betances throws it about 5 feet over Mark Teixeira's head and ends up as the go-ahead run. Joe Girardi spent about a minute complaining before the umpires conferenced. Once they were done, Girardi was back out for some complaining. The Yankees played the rest of the game under protest as a result. Just gonna put cryingbaby.mp3 right here. Also, the Astros tacked on 2 extra insurance runs. Do you remember last year when the Astros lost to the Royals in the ALDS? Well, the Astros made their first trip back to Kansas City since Game 5, and, well, the score was 9-0 after the first inning. Then it was 12-1 after the second. Now that's an embarrassing defeat, but the Astros weren't done yet. The next day, on June 25th, the Astros put up 7 in the second inning, including a 3-run Altuve homer, which was his second extra base hit in as many innings. In the fourth, Altuve nabbed an opposite field single. Now just a triple shy of the cycle, he comes up to bat in the 6th inning. He fell down 0-2, but he launches one in the gap. Kauffman Stadium has the largest non-Coors outfield in the majors, so Altuve gets on his horse and he goes for it. Well, you know, nobody's perfect. Funnily enough, a couple days later on June 27th, Mike Trout did pretty much the exact same thing against the Astros, and he made sure to let Altuve know about it. Altuve would claim his first Player of the Month award, NL or AL, with a nearly 500 OBP and 1100 OPS in June. For the second year in a row, Altuve was the starting second baseman for the American League in the All-Star Game. However, this time he was batting leadoff. He makes a slick play to get Harper. Look, it's Johnny Cueto, he's with the Giants now. Altuve pops up before the broadcast can even get done with their little graphic thing. Buster Posey lines one that bounces off Corey Kluber, but Altuve is there to make the play for the out. He then chases upstairs for a strikeout. Speaking of former Royals in the NL, Ben Zobrist grounds one that is tossed to Altuve with Carlos Gonzalez, I guess, disrupting this throw with his leg. 2 runners on, a full count, and 1 out in the 4th inning. Cargo lines one that Altuve catches, then almost nabs the runner at first. Then he gets another short toss from Xander Bogaerts. Facing legendary Jamie Moyer teammate Drew Pomeranz, Altuve flies out. Then in the 5th, he just kind of bobbles this one against Daniel Murphy. It's called out, but after review, he's safe. I'm not sure why Manny Machado takes this ball from Bogaerts, but Altuve nabs it all the same. And that's pretty much his All-Star game. For the first and to date only time in his career, Altuve was ejected. He was arguing balls and strikes. Note that all 3 of these strikes in this at-bat were called strikes. Now those first 2 weren't egregious, but in the past few days Altuve had been taking some balls that weren't called that way. So it all kind of boiled to a head here. On August 16th, a 3-hit performance put Altuve at 1,000 career hits. Wisely, he didn't try and stretch that single into a double on such a milestone accomplishment. He became the fastest Astro to reach the milestone, surpassing Craig Biggio. Facing Aroldis Chapman down 2-0 against the Chicago Cubs, Altuve grounded out on the first pitch he saw. Altuve came 3rd in MVP voting, although he didn't get any first place votes. This comes along with another Silver Slugger. And okay, I'm dragging this out longer than I need to. The Astros weren't good in 2016. Well, I mean, 84-78 isn't great. It's a minor step back from last year, but they went 86-76 and made the playoffs. Well, I guess there's no playoffs to talk about. No bright lights to speak of. Except, wait a second, what's that? My God, that's the World Baseball Classic! The tournament is back. Well, it never left, but now Altuve's here. He joined 2 other Jose A's on Team Venezuela on their way to, a second round out. That's pretty much it on that. The next World Baseball Classic is in 2021, so it's gonna be a while until Altuve has a chance to return to the tournament. And with that, this part 1 is just about over. The coming years will define Altuve's legacy in every possible way. But that's for next time. I'll see you then. Please like and subscribe. I spent months on this video.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't really understand, but I fell down the hill and I got glue on my hands and I got rackets on my fingers. Rackets on my fingers, I got rackets on my fingers and I just can't stop.